Welcome back, everyone, to the Crypto Rain channel. I'm your host, Jay Murph, and today we're going to be talking about 100x and 1000x gains. Isn't that what we're all looking for? And we're trying to find the best ways to get those. So we're in February 2021, and if the market cycles repeat, this will be a really good year for us. Just historically, the year after the Bitcoin halving, Bitcoin tends to take a massive run, and with that, altcoins come along with it. And so we don't know for sure if that's going to happen. It's just highly likely to happen because history doesn't repeat itself, but it sure does rhyme. And we have been seeing over the past 8 years a 4-year market cycle. And so it's likely that that 4-year market cycle will repeat. And so many of us are asking the questions, what are likely to give us really good gains? And that is the hard question to find the right answer to, because everything is competing for our attention, right? Every project is saying, yes, invest in our token, we're going to do fantastic. And maybe they are, maybe they aren't. So how do you know for yourself? Well, the best way is to educate yourself so that you know how to make your best guess. Since none of us have crystal balls, we have to guess. We try to make as educated a guess as possible. Myself, I'm not a magician. I also can't see the future. And so I'm just an investor myself. Now, I've been investing in the crypto space for only 4 years. Not a financial advisor. I'm just sharing with you guys some of how I do my analysis to determine what I'm going to be interested in. As far as your own decisions, really that's up to you to make your own decisions. And ultimately, what's great about that is when we take full responsibility for the decisions we make, and we make some great decisions, we're like, I learned some lessons from that. And when we make some bad decisions, we say, I learned some lessons from that. So one of the big things I'm looking for is what has the best potential to make 100x gains, or even possible, the holy grail of crypto investing, 1000x returns. Now, as I look at what options there are, one of the big things I really have to look closely at is what is their current market cap at? Because if their current market cap is at, say, 100 million, for that project to have potential 1000x gains, then it would have to hit a market cap of at least 100 billion. That is no small feat to accomplish. Now, there is some evidence to suggest that we might have a super cycle this year. So what is a super cycle? Well, it's a cycle that goes much farther and higher than normal. What we have seen, most of this due to not only the US, but other central banks printing off large amounts of currency to try to stem off a recession, that has led to a super cycle in real estate. That has also led to a super cycle in the stock market. And also a super cycle, meaning it's hit much higher than it should, it often doesn't end well and leads to a reversal that also often busts higher than it needs to. So be aware that if we do hit a super cycle with the cryptocurrency cycle this year and going into next year, likely it'll have a super cycle bust too. And so just being aware of that, we can prepare ourselves for the likelihood that that happens. Now, will it happen? I don't know. I remember in 2017 when people said, this time it's different. There's not going to be a bust and things have changed and we're never coming down from here. Yeah, that didn't end well for me. I thought maybe things were different. And so I didn't sell off when the market was high. And I rode all the way to the bottom. Now, thankfully, I didn't sell off when the market was low either. And so, though a lot of my altcoins lost 99.5%, and if I was lucky, only lost 95% of their value from the highs, boy, that was a tough pill to swallow. Now, Bitcoin only reversed 85%, which seems like a lot better than 99.5%, but still, that's a really high reversal. And we may have that coming up. So just be aware of that. That's always in the back of my mind, saying, okay, how can I hedge against that? While I want to ride a lot of these things up, I don't want to ride them down. So I am looking for things that will get 100x or possibly even the holy grail of 1000x. And what might be able to do that for me? Well, found one that might be able to do that for me. And I'll walk you through what I like about it and what I know about it so far. There's still more research to be done, and I would love to speak to the team on this. So thank you all of you who have subscribed and helped me grow this channel, because the more subscribers I get, the easier it will be for me to get responses from the team directly, not only to answer my questions, but to come on the channel and answer your questions, which is the whole reason why I started this channel, because I was frustrated at not getting answers back from some of the projects, because I was just an investor and I was just one investor. And some crypto YouTubers were getting immediate responses and them coming on the channel. And I realized that in order to be able to get those kind of responses, get my questions answered so that I can make better investment decisions for myself, I really need to try to create value and create a YouTube channel that adds value to you so that you would be interested in subscribing, and maybe together we could get that information more directly. Well, with no further ado, we will jump into what project I'm interested in. This is OpenDAO. Now, funny enough, it's not even on CoinGecko. It's on CoinMarketCap. So if you look it up on CoinGecko, you will find some other open projects that aren't OpenDAO. So, it means it's still the early days, right? And I like the early days on projects that have good things going on. Now, I like what I'm seeing about it, and we'll walk you through that. One of the first things I look at, okay, what is the token price? More importantly, I come to what is the market cap? Right after market cap, though, I run over to, well, what is the circulating supply versus total supply? And here I see, whoa, okay. Boy, that means 3.6% of their total supply is in circulation. So just know, much more of this will be coming online into circulation. Now, they do have some rewards for some people that are, in essence, staking with them, and that does continue to bring more of this into the market. But that is something to be very aware of, because it is not going to stay this low. There will be more released into the market, which will drive the market cap up, even if the price doesn't change. So do keep that in mind. Now, it's at 7 million right now, 7.7 million. It was as high as 10 million right here, before then just retracing after some really big gains. Now, it's still an early project, and one of the things I don't love about the project is right now it's built on the Ethereum chain, which, come on, not my favorite. They probably, how could they have seen what was going to happen in November, realizing how congested the Ethereum chain would get? There would have been some indicators if they paid close attention into July and August, when the Ethereum chain got pretty congested when that DeFi boom happened. But they built it on that. So I do hold that against them, and I weigh that. So I look at what is one of their biggest competitors and what chain are they on, and that would be Synthetics, which is also on the Ethereum blockchain. Now, there are some projects coming out, like Cardano, that will have an Ethereum bridge that will make it easier for projects on the Ethereum blockchain to bring it right over to Cardano and remove that hurdle like that if it runs smoothly. So I hope that happens, and I hope Cardano nails that, especially being such a big Cardano holder myself. I'm excited what they have. But let's look at what Synthetics has done. So Synthetics had a bumpy start, and they launched, their token became available on the market in 2018, and it was really slow. Now, I remember seeing Synthetics way back here, and even checking on it here, and I thought, man, I think they're going to do really well. It's really only easily available on Uniswap. I don't really know how to use Uniswap. I had used it once following a tutorial on how to buy small love potions for a crypto-backed game called Axie Infinity, which did make me a lot of money buying land on Axie Infinity. But I hate turn-based games, and it's a turn-based game, and so to me, the play isn't what I like. Anyway, so I had bought small love potions, but I didn't really know how to look at Uniswap, so I made the decision. I'm just going to wait till they are on bigger exchanges. Then I will buy some. That was a freaking huge mistake. Because by the time they hit bigger exchanges, they had some massive run-ups, and I missed the chance to buy when it had a really small market cap of 5.2 million. And its current market cap is almost 3 billion, or at 3 billion? Nah, just under 3 billion. Missed that one, right? That would have been a wild ride, and that would have been almost a 1000x gainer. So now what is OpenDAO doing differently from them, right? Well, that's an important note and something we really have to look at. Now, the audio, I'm going to play this for you. The audio is just going to be so-so because it's playing from my computer speakers to my microphone that's right here off to the side, and it will catch most of the audio, but the clarity is just so-so, and I apologize. If you want to listen to it better, I will link it in the description so you can listen to the whole. It's just two minutes. And so they go over how they're solving a problem that's very relevant for this. Okay, it's great if you can lock up cryptocurrency in a loan as the collateral against, say, some stable coins that you're going to borrow. But one of the big problems to solve is how can you lock up other assets, such as vehicles, such as real estate, such as diamonds, as collateral against stable coins so that you can take out a loan essentially backed by your collateral. And I like how they've arranged a solution for that. I really like how they arranged a solution for that, and it gives you this in this brief overview. So let's watch this together.
OpenDAO is the bridge between real-world assets and on-chain assets. On current DeFi money markets, such as Compound, you can borrow on-chain assets, such as USDT, against other on-chain collateral, such as ETH. When someone doesn't repay their loan, it's a straightforward process for a liquidator to take possession of the on-chain assets and repay the debt. With OpenDAO, instead of just using on-chain assets as collateral, you can now use real-world assets, such as shares and real estate. The challenges with utilizing off-chain assets are figuring out how liquidators can take possession of these off-chain assets and where they can sell them to repay the debts. We have developed a seamless solution to these challenges with the Cashbox. The Cashbox is a pool of stable coins, aka cash, that acts as a perpetual counterparty to real-world asset tokens. Therefore, if a liquidator takes possession of some off-chain asset tokens, which were being used as collateral, they can always sell those tokens to the Cashbox for stablecoins in return. In this way, the rest of the system can work exactly like the on-chain one mentioned earlier. Cashboxes are funded by LPs, or liquidity providers, who are effectively the buyers of last resort for the asset tokens on the system. As an LP to a Cashbox, you own the underlying asset's tokens in the box, and depending on the type of asset, there are different mechanisms for selling these assets in the real world. For example, listed shares can be sold through a sell order triggered via an API. The cash is converted into stable coins and distributed in a seamless manner. For real estate, we will employ an SPV, or fund structure, which effectively owns the real estate and then can have its shares tokenized. Cashbox LPs can convert their asset tokens back into shares and sell them back to the SPV. So why would someone want to be an LP to a Cashbox? Firstly, they are happy with holding the underlying asset, such as real estate, which they'll be getting at a discount. LPs earn fees, and when they stake their Cashbox tokens, they will also earn open tokens as an incentive for providing the service.
This is adding more open tokens to the market.
Real-world assets and are the most critical part of the ecosystem, which is why the Cashbox LPs will receive the bulk of the open tokens reserved for community incentives.
All right. Did you notice how they're solving that problem through their Cashbox solution? Now, it's pretty in-depth going through their Cashbox solution, how that actually works. And you can see their white paper, and they've broken it down so that you can easily, it's not just a big PDF that you have to scroll through, but you can go through and click on these different things. So I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. Now, can they go to zero? Heck yes. Does it look good enough that I'm putting my own money in? It does. I already have put my own money in. In fact, I put it in right as I was leaving town for the weekend with my wife. I didn't have time to do a video on it. What's funny is over the weekend, one of our subscribers, Charles specifically, let me double check that. No, it was James specifically had asked me to do a review on this. And I thought, well, that's convenient because I was probably already going to do a review on this. So definitely, I will do a review on this. So thank you, James. And let's look at, so I will put a link to this so that you can review it. They do have a Twitter account. Oh, that's my Twitter account. And they are, they post pretty regularly. Now, it's still in the pretty early days. You can't even find a lot of YouTube videos on them, which is when you don't fully know if this is going to work out. Like Synthetics, 2.5 years ago, it wasn't very clear if they were going to survive the crypto winter. And that's part of the reason their market cap was so low. Now they've really hit and done a lot of great things, and they're a lot less likely to go to zero. And the risks people feel are much, much lower, and they have a lot of things in the works. And so their market cap has grown by like, what is it, 600x from where it was. Darn it, missed that one. So one of the risks associated with a project so early in stage is you don't know how well the project is going to deliver. If they hit these milestones, they hit them with solid implementations and continue to make the right partners, then they'll probably deliver on it really well. If they miss it, if they stay on the Ethereum blockchain and congestion gets really, really terrible, and they don't make some adaptations that keep them viable, then it's not going to work out as well. Now, I do think during the next 12 months, there'll be a lot of projects. Very few will fail except for exit scams and rug pulls. And the reason is because a rising tide rises all boats. So if the market does what I'm expecting it to do, then likely almost everything will do well. The question is how well. And how well depends on what choices they continue to make, and will those be good. I liked what I've seen, good enough that I did put in a couple of Ethereum myself, and it has since retraced a little bit, and if it retraces a little bit further, I will probably sell some other things in order to buy some more, because I like what I'm seeing. And so it retraced. I bought right around there. It's since retraced, and I knew there was the possibility of a pullback and retracement, and they make better entry positions, because I realized I wasn't buying near as good here as I could have earlier. I just actually had heard about it around here, but I hadn't looked at details enough to know that I would be interested until here, and I had to make a quick decision because I was leaving town. So I did, and so I'm seeing some good things. If it retraces a little bit further, I will probably sell. I have to sell some things that I like that have done well to be able to roll them in here, so I don't have more free Ethereum just sitting there to throw in there. But if it does continue to pull back, I'll probably make that decision to buy it while it's cheap, which is my favorite time to buy. Where do they go from here? Well, they have made some right decisions, and one of the advantages of not being the first mover is that you can learn from experiences others have, and so Synthetics was one of the first movers in this market. So one of the great things that they did was, rather than fork Synthetics, they decided to build their own ideas, and they partnered with UMA to enable their DeFi developers to build the synthetic assets. Now, UMA has been a really good solution that has caught a lot of traction recently, although their tech is really solid. It did have a big boom from close to $6 up to $25 during the DeFi boom, and then has since kind of flattened out like a lot of DeFi projects did, but then again, has really hit some big traction here and has a market cap of 1.5 billion and probably has more room to go. Anyway, without getting too much more into that, let's talk about cryptocurrency in general and what is going on. Bitcoin has a strong potential to possibly take some runs. Now, if that happens, what happens is most altcoins tend to suffer in their price versus Bitcoin. And before, I still have this from before one of the previous times we visited this chart. This is the Bitcoin dominance chart, and I look at this frequently, especially when I'm making Bitcoin or altcoin decisions, which that's most of cryptocurrency right there, right? Because when Bitcoin is running up in price, what happens is people tend to sell altcoins in general. And so a lot of altcoins suffer in their price relative to Bitcoin. Since really my end goal is to accumulate more Bitcoin, and altcoins are a great way to accumulate more Bitcoin as, say, Bitcoin dominance falls, altcoins outperform Bitcoin tremendously, and it allows you to then buy even more Bitcoin. So Bitcoin hit a peak here when it first peaked out at just under $45,000, right at the beginning of January. And since then, not only did Bitcoin price retrace some, but altcoins went up tremendously. And so that's what you see this dominance. This is a chart showing the dominance of Bitcoin versus altcoins. And so that's what you see this big slide is. Now, if you look back here, you see what technical analysis calls a head and shoulders pattern. And I know my drawing's terrible. That's not going to change. It just is what it is. I'm not so much an artist. You'll see a shoulder that might emerge here. Now, what's funny about technical analysis, logically, technical analysis should not work at all. But the reason it does work is because we as human beings tend to not buy logically, we buy emotionally. And so what's funny is because we buy emotionally, charting works because it captures the emotional fear of missing out cycle that people go through, and also the fear of going to zero cycle. And so patterns often tend to repeat, mostly driven by emotional buying and selling decisions. And also, because they tend to complete, then a lot of analysts and bots use those patterns that actually help become self-fulfilling prophecies to complete these patterns. For example, if Bitcoin continues to run up, what will happen is altcoins might then level out and then start to go down relative to Bitcoin, which will help actually complete this pattern. And then you'll see it hit a high somewhere in here, and then we might see it then Bitcoin suffer in dominance relative to altcoins as they take off in value. So if we saw a run up to with Bitcoin to say 55 or 60 or 65 or 70,000, we would probably see a lot of the steam from altcoins roll into Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's dominance would go up and altcoins relative to it would go down, peaking out somewhere that then might even complete this head and shoulders pattern, and then maybe a big, what I've been calling, it's a non-technical term, a womp, as altcoins take a massive run up relative to Bitcoin. Now, we're in 2021, and I frequently look back at 2017 to try to get my best idea of what's going to happen this year, because I'm trying to make the best gains possible this year. Now, I did want to talk about something really cool. It's that though we might hit a super cycle this year, my guess is we'll still hit a crash. And why is that cool? Well, because if it crashes, and it crashes big, say in 2022, that tells us that we'll probably have another massive bull run. Because over time, what you'll see is the massive run-ups and the massive run-downs will probably more level out over time, and these 4-year cycles won't be as sharp. However, I like these 4-year cycles because understanding these cycles allows chances for massive gains and then ways to hedge your risk so that you're taking profits as you're making massive gains so that all your stuff isn't at risk for when things maybe start to turn around because you don't know exactly where the top will be. So that you don't end up riding everything all the way to the bottom and that you've capitalized and taken some gains so that if things do go all the way to the bottom, then you have a chance to be buying near the bottom in a couple of years. If this pattern repeats pretty close to what it did before, it should allow a lot of people to make some really good gains this year and into early next year, as well as sell off some things and position themselves well for when the crypto winter hits again, to be able to pick up some great projects at hugely discounted prices, only to be able to ride some massive gains again in 2025. I don't know about you, that's pretty dang exciting to me. So that's what I'm looking forward to and trying to make my decisions because, don't feel pressure if you're new. One of the things is like, oh my gosh, I got to make all the right decisions and all the perfect decisions so that I don't miss out on any opportunities. Now, and it's like, well, yeah, we always want to make all the perfect decisions, but right now is a good time to learn some lessons and educate yourself. Now, hopefully you make all the right decisions and don't learn any lessons the hard way. But if you do make some decisions that lead to some painful lessons, what do you learn from that? Because likely this isn't our only cycle that we have a chance to learn from. So one of the most important things that you can do is grow yourself and grow your education, because likely these cycles are possibly going to repeat again in not only the coming crypto winter, but then the following bull market that will come after that. So now is a great time to be educating yourself and learning as much as possible and soaking it in. I did want to say one of the things I strongly suggest is with YouTube, I have made the decision 4 years ago to pay the $10 a month so that I don't have to watch all the ads. And that was one of the best decisions I made because I do get some very valuable education for myself through YouTube. And so I made that decision to pay that so I don't have to watch all the ads because, I mean, really, what is your educational time worth to you? Now, some people are in very poor countries. You don't have a lot of disposable income, and $10 a month is a ton of money. And I get that very much. And some people, $10 seems like a lot, but it's something that you can do just to free yourself from all the ads because your time is very valuable. That is a decision I made 4 years ago. I don't regret that decision ever. So, in the last 4 years, essentially I've been paying $120 a year, so roughly $500 to save me from having to watch all those ads. And it's great. So I do recommend that, as well as taking the time this year to educate yourself as much as possible in as many different ways. Maybe even some technical analysis, maybe in some other things. I have the guy who helped me get interested in crypto. He's putting together a technical analysis course. He had one before. He's been doing trading on both crypto, but also Forex and also stocks using technical analysis for years and years and years. So I have asked him to help make a course specific to cryptocurrency and technical analysis. Though the better you get at technical analysis, you can use that in everything. So that'll be coming up down the road. But also there's other YouTubers that have very good courses. I haven't taken their courses, so I can't tell you specifically. Though some of them you can tell by their videos. They're good at technical analysis. Those are some good options. Now, I don't trade on margin after getting burned huge because I didn't put some safeguards in place, and I don't recommend trading on margin. It's up to you to make those choices. I know a certain YouTuber that just made a video about how he lost 150,000 worth of Bitcoin in a day. He also didn't take the appropriate safeguards. Really successful traders that are trading on margin, they always put those safeguards in place so they don't have losses like that. But where technical analysis becomes very, very valuable, even though I don't trade on margin, it really helps me make better trades. I'm more of a swing trader. So I'm not buying based on margin. I'm buying the actual crypto so that there's no like interest cost like you pay when you're essentially buying on margin. And so you also don't get liquidated down to zero unless the crypto goes down to zero. So you just have lower risk, and there's not the time frames that you have with swing trading or margin trading with crypto. So I do prefer swing trading, and the technical analysis has helped me a lot there, as well as educating yourself on blockchain and business principles in general. Very helpful. So with that said, let's get back to OpenDAO. Where do I think this could go? Well, in the coming bull run, I think things will hyperinflate because I do think we'll hit a super cycle. Where could it go to? It could go to a 10 billion market cap. Will it? I don't know. There's reasons why I don't sell a whole bunch of my portfolio and put them into something that could hit 1,000 X returns is because the likelihood of it hitting 1,000 X returns isn't super strong because you just don't know what decisions will be made. But there is the chance. So I want some exposure to the opportunity that it could. I like what I'm seeing enough that I put a couple Ethereum in, and if it drops more, I'll probably put a couple more Ethereum in. But that's what I'm limiting my exposure to. Now, if that does really well, great. That's a couple $1,000 worth of Ethereum that then 1,000Xs, and that could become some very serious money if it happens. The likelihood of that happening is small. But the likelihood that it does get some pretty good returns is still interesting to me. So would I love it to 1,000X? Yes. Does it have the potential to? With the market cap where it is, if they hit on their things, it does have the chance that it can. And so I'm rolling the dice personally on this one as a good enough bet that even if it doesn't hit the 1,000X returns, it'll be pretty substantial returns. So I'm interested. With that said, guys, I hope that's helpful. Thank you for all of you that have subscribed to the channel. Also, if you have a project that you love and you think will do really well, I'd love to hear about it. Here's what I need from you. I need the ticker symbol, but not just the ticker symbol. I need you to tell me what you like about it, because if you tell me what you like about it, and also you tell me what the market cap is currently at, I promise I will take a look at it myself. If I really, really like it, or even if I really like it, I'll probably do a review on it. If I hate it, I might do a review on it, only from a standpoint I'll tell people what I hate. Now, thankfully, you guys have been actually submitting to me really, really good ideas. And so though I haven't done a review on all of them, I do appreciate your analysis on it. And I know that many of you watching this channel are actually very, very bright. And I appreciate your analysis on this. And I know many of you are very smart investors, some of you very, very successful, and you don't have the time for a doing a crypto channel yourself. So I appreciate your interactions with me and sharing with me your insights, because many of you had very, very good insights. In fact, some of the things that I have added to my portfolio have come from you ladies and gentlemen out there and your analysis, and then I look at it closely and I like what I'm seeing, and some of those I've done videos on. So thank you so much for your feedback and input. Also, if you subscribe to this channel, this really helps me grow the subscriber base so I can get more direct access to the project teams, developers, CEOs, to then not only speak to me, but come on and speak to you and tell us more about their project, and especially what's going on below the surface that we want to know, so that we can figure out if we're interested in the project. Because a lot of the stuff that's already above the surface and everyone can see, well, that's when projects have already realized some massive gains. What we like to get a feel for is the information that they can disclose that maybe isn't being broadcast out there, and the best way to get that information is to have them come on the channel and answer some questions that we can ask them. So every one of you who's subscribed, you're helping me towards that goal, which is the whole reason I started this channel, was being able to reach out to those teams and have them answer my questions, because I've got a large subscriber base. So not only are they speaking to me, but they're speaking to all of you. So thank you so much, everyone who has joined me on this journey. All right, we will see you soon.